All right, ready to dive into something you might not expect. Industrial water pumps. They're way more interesting than they sound.
Oh, absolutely.
Essential, too. We got a request for a deep dive. Perfect. Whether you're prepping for a meeting, new to the industry, or just curious.
It's funny how these systems are everywhere, but we never think about them.
Totally. Getting ready, I was surprised. So much goes into choosing the right pump. It's like solving a puzzle, finding the perfect fit.
Right. There are so many factors: the fluid, pressure, efficiency, the environment. We'll
Yeah.
break it all down.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Two main categories, centrifugal and positive displacement. Our sources had a great analogy, sprinters versus marathon runners.
I love that. Centrifugal pumps, they're those sprinters. Move a lot of fluid quickly, maybe not as much force, though.
Picture a skinning lawn sprinkler. That's the idea. Throws water out wide, good for irrigation, moving water on a factory.
Yeah.
Simple, less expensive, and great with clean water.
Now, those positive displacement pumps, they're more like marathon runners. Slower, maybe, but they handle higher pressures, thicker fluids.
Like squeezing toothpaste, that controlled, consistent flow.
Exactly.
This is where it gets interesting. Choosing the right pump, it's not one size fits all. Understanding the application is key.
Right. First question, what's the pump doing? Cooling a power plant, manufacturing process. Every situation's different.
And then there's the fluid itself. It's not always plain water, right?
Yeah.
Viscosity, how thick it is, temperature, chemicals, all that changes what kind of pump you need.
A pump for clean drinking water wouldn't last a minute, moving thick syrup or chemicals. Then you've got the environment, inside a factory or out in the elements.
Makes sense. Indoor, outdoor, clean water, harsh chemicals. And you can't forget space and noise. You wouldn't want a giant noisy pump in a small space. Plus, everyone wants to save energy these days.
Absolutely, modern pump designs are incredibly energy efficient.
So we've covered types of pumps, application, fluid type. But what about these pump performance curves? Sound a bit technical. Do I really need to understand those?
They're actually super helpful once you get the hang of them. It's like a visual guide to how a pump performs. Not just numbers, you see the relationship between flow rate, pressure, power, and efficiency.
So big picture instead of equations.
Exactly. And one of the best things, they help avoid a problem called cavitation. It's like the pump starving for water, which can damage it. The performance curve helps you run it safely and efficiently.
Got it. I think I'm getting the basics now. Centrifugal, positive displacement, those performance curves. But what are these pumps made of? Does the material really matter that much?
Oh, it's huge, especially for durability and maintenance. You need the right material for the job, like stainless steel, super durable, great for harsh environments, but pricey.
You get what you pay for, right? What about other options like those plastics and composites?
Yeah, those are more common now. Lightweight, often less expensive. But they have limitations, especially with temperature. Not great for really hot fluids.
Trade-offs, like everything.
Yeah.
Cheaper might cost you more down the line with replacements.
Exactly. Which brings us to the bigger picture. It's not just the pump, it's the whole life cycle.
Yeah.
Installation, maintenance, total cost of ownership, it all matters.
Okay, lots to think about. But before we get into that, those bigger picture things you mentioned, installation, maintenance, and cost, I want to be sure we're on the same page. Those aren't as exciting as pump types, but they're important, right?
Absolutely. You can have the best pump in the world, but if it's installed wrong or not maintained, you're asking for trouble.
So proper installation is key. And maintenance, I guess, it's like taking your car in for regular checkups.
Exactly. Inspections, lubrication, replacing parts, it all helps.
So when you say cost, you don't just mean the price tag, right?
Right. It's the total cost of ownership.
No.
Purchase price, installation, energy use over time, repairs, maintenance. Think long term.
Like buying a car. Gas mileage, insurance, repairs, it all adds up. Okay, so we've talked about types, choices, materials, and why that life cycle matters. But things are changing fast, right? Smart pumps. Industry 4.0, it's a whole new world.
It is, and we're only just beginning to see what's possible. It's pretty amazing, this whole Industry 4.0 thing, connecting machines and systems, making factories smarter. It's like a giant industrial internet.
So how do industrial water pumps fit into all of this?
Well, imagine your pump as part of this network, sharing data, being controlled remotely.
There's more than just moving water. It's part of a bigger system.
Exactly. And this is where those smart features we talked about come in. VFDs, remote monitoring, they become even more powerful.
Right, those VFDs like cruise control for your pump. I think I get the idea, but explain it again.
Sure. A VFD adjusts the pump motor speed to match what the system needs. So instead of running full blast all the time, it can slow down, save energy when demand is lower.
Like my car getting better gas mileage on the highway.
Perfect analogy. Saves money, better for the environment.
Makes sense. And those remote monitoring systems, what's the advantage of watching your pump from anywhere?
Imagine checking on your pump from your phone, anywhere you are. Seeing flow rate, pressure, temperature, even vibrations.
It's like having X-ray vision into the pump room.
Exactly. You can spot problems early, check the data, decide if you need to send someone out there. Say a sensor picks up weird vibrations, you get an alert on your phone and can check it out.
That's got to be a huge help, avoiding those big breakdowns.
It is. And then there's predictive maintenance, which takes it even further.
Okay, predictive maintenance, that sounds like magic.
Mm.
How can you predict when a pump is going to have a problem?
It's all about data. Algorithms analyze what the sensors are telling us, and they can see patterns, tiny things that might mean trouble is coming, way before a human would notice.
So it's like a digital detective, always watching, looking for clues.
Exactly. Catch problems early, maybe just a small adjustment or some maintenance, and you prevent a big headache later.
This is really changing how we think about pumps, isn't it? But all this data, algorithms, it seems pretty complicated.
There's a lot of tech behind it, but the goal is to make things easier for the people running the pumps.
So not replacing humans with robots, but giving them better tools.
Exactly. These tools help operators be more proactive and efficient. Everyone wins.
And it's not just about efficiency, right? Smart pumps can help save water, too. We talked about VFDs saving energy, but how much are we talking about?
A lot. Imagine a big pump running 24/7, even when it doesn't need to. A VFD could cut energy use by 30%, maybe even more. Depends on the pump, but the savings add up fast.
That's huge. But water conservation is just as important these days, especially with droughts and shortages.
You're right, water is precious, and smart pumps can help us use it wisely.
Okay, so how do they do that?
Lots of ways. Think about irrigation. A big farm using pumps to water crops. With sensors and smart controls, they can water only when needed, the right amount in the right place.
Instead of just drenching everything, they're being precise.
Exactly. Saves water, helps crops grow better, less fertilizer and pesticides, all good for the environment.
That's a great example. And this could apply to other industries too, right? Not just farming.
Absolutely. Factories, mines, power plants, any industry using lots of water. Smart pumps help monitor, find leaks, even reuse water.
So it's not just using less, it's using it smarter, making every drop count.
Exactly. And as this technology gets better, we'll see even more progress in water conservation.
It really is amazing, isn't it? These industrial water pumps, they're not just machines. They're a part of this whole movement towards sustainability.
It's true. Sometimes the most ordinary things can make a big difference.
We've learned a lot today, different types of pumps, how to choose the right one, all those smart pump features. But there's one thing I still don't quite get, head pressure. Can you explain that again in simple terms?
Sure. Think of it as the force the pump needs to push the water, to overcome gravity, to get it where it needs to go. Like pumping water uphill, the steeper the hill, the more pressure you need.
So a higher pump means more power.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And it's not just height, it's the pipes too, how long they are, how many bends and valves, all that adds resistance.
So, lots of things to consider, like a puzzle.
That's where those performance curves come in, remember? They help figure out if a pump has enough power for the job.
Okay, starting to make more sense now. So, for someone out there who's actually going to be picking a pump, what are the most important things to remember?
Well, first off, it's not a simple decision. Think carefully about what you need the pump to do, what kind of fluid you're dealing with, where it's going to be operating, and don't forget those long-term costs.
And don't be afraid of the new technology. Smart pumps can really make a difference.
Absolutely. Things are changing fast, so stay informed.
Good advice.
Yeah.
One last thing, we keep talking about sustainability, how smart pumps can help us conserve water. What does that future look like? How can we really make a difference?
We need to start by remembering how important water is. It's not unlimited. Smart pumps help us use it more efficiently, reduce waste, even help clean and reuse water.
It's a whole new way of thinking about pumps, not just moving water, but managing it responsibly.
Exactly. And we need to work together, industry researchers, governments, to come up with smart solutions using this technology for people and for the planet.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities. Who knew industrial water pumps could be part of such a big change?
It's a good reminder that innovation can happen anywhere.
Well said. Thanks for joining us today for this deep dive into the world of industrial water pumps. Hopefully you learned something new, maybe even got inspired. Thanks for listening.